Mic check, mic check. What up, what up? What's up, everybody? You gotta just keep talking. Just keep talking. Of course, I go live and literally 5 seconds later my wife comes. Like literally now I hear the garage door opening, my wife just got home. It's like, of course, man. The timing. Yo, Num is in the house. What's up, Num? Good to see you. What's happening? There's a lot going on. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of live stuff happening right now. Let me throw up a couple of clips.
What's this? What is this?
Oh. What should we do tonight, boys? What should we do tonight? There's so much content to watch and see and react to. What am I laughing about here?
Most people need gunners, choppers. Must not last too long.
I don't get. That's not a good clip. What was I laughing about, I wonder?
At least you must not laugh.
Huh. Bad clips.
Oh, there's my wreckage.
Hey, did we have any American?
I don't know. I don't think these Arma Reforger clips really do very good, honestly. Whoa, dude. Whoa. My estimated revenue is up to $43. I haven't even seen that all day. I haven't checked that. Oh, that's because I had a 4,400 viewer vid. Wow, dude. I made over $6 on one day. On Sunday. On Sunday, I made over $6 on YouTube. That's actually amazing. But these Arma ones, I don't think they do very well, honestly. I think some of them have, but nothing like my political ones.
Thank you. Sir, do you understand the rules with respect to that helicopter sitting over there?
What about it?
The rules are nobody takes it except me, or else they get shot. Understood?
I can't fly anyways.
Oh, man. I get a chuckle out of a lot of these, but I don't know.
Copy. Coming in. On my way from Morton. Here we're capping Morton.
Oh, man.
Left gunner, get ready. Left gunner, get ready.
Do the really good helicopter helis fly in third person, I wonder, or do they fly in first person? I think first person. Oh my gosh, dude, this is like way too many clips. I can't keep up, man. I can't keep up with putting up all the clips.
I can't be everywhere at once. Let's do something.
Sorry, guys. Oh, you know what? Let me go say hello to my wife really quick.
You know what? They're great. And Elon makes the best of them as far as I'm concerned. But, and he'll be the first to admit, it's a certain market, and it's a certain market for certain things, but you have to have gasoline powered. Here we have more gasoline, we have more oil and gas, we have more liquid gold than anybody in the world. And we're trying to go all electric. So we want that. We want hybrids. We don't want hydrogen cars. We don't want hydrogen. Would anybody like a hydrogen car? You know what a hydrogen car? It's a great car. It's a wonderful car, except if it happens to explode, then you are unrecognizable. They said they have it down. They don't think more than 10 or 20 will explode a year. But if it does, you're gonzo. So we told them, let's not spend a lot of money on that. That's one of those things, no matter how good it is, you don't want it. But other than that, they said it works quite well. On day one of the Trump administration, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New scam once and for all.
All right, let's see it, Makers, Dave.
It's terrible. You know whose idea that was, right? AOC, young girl, very nice person. She never even studied the environment in college. Average student at best. She was an average student. She walked in one day, she said, we're going to all be dead in 12 years because the oceans are rising. Well, it's been more than 12 years. What's going on? No, we have a much bigger threat. We have a threat.
Yep, Trump, spot on as always. Spot on as always. The DOJ alleged Ohio's efforts to remove non-citizens may violate federal law. Oh, yeah, I can't believe they did that. It's unbelievable. Oops, I'm about to sneeze. Of your attempt to prevent states from ensuring non-citizens do not influence our democracy. It smells amazing and looks great, so thank you. The Constitution empowers states to serve as the primary administrators of elections. In fact, the Supreme Court recognized states have broad authority to enact reasonable regulations of parties, elections, and ballots to reduce election and campaign-related disorder. While the federal government plays a supporting role, Congress has passed laws to improve election integrity and bolster voting rights. In '93, Congress passed the National Voter Registration Act to ensure that only eligible citizens participate in federal elections and allow states to maintain accurate voter rolls. In addition, Congress has made it a crime for any non-citizen to vote in a federal election. The laws complement the state's primary authority to regulate elections and support what the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia called the state's historical power to exclude aliens from participation in their democratic political institutions. Federal courts have explained that the act allows states to remove invalid registered voters at any time before an election. The courts upheld the removal of registered voters who violated residency requirements and were ineligible. So what the letter basically says is, hey, Biden Democrat administration, you're violating the law. Yeah, we know that. They violate the law all the time.
Called nuclear weapons and having stupid people running our country. And if you talk about global...
But it is pretty disgusting and shocking and pretty frustrating to see the federal government, like, seriously going after states for trying to remove illegal voters from their voting rolls, and then Biden suing them for that. Like, it's so obvious they want shenanigans in our elections. Disgusting.
That's the real global warming, not this nonsense of the ocean's going to rise over the next 400 years by 1/8 of an inch and we're going to be wiped out. No, we have a threat right now and we better get smart because we're very close to World War III. If you take a look at what's going on, we're very close. So we have a couple of different areas, but we'll have more than that. And you can look. To $5 in California was $7 and $8. We were at $1.84 and everybody was happy. It was nice to drive to Washington, D.C., but the problem with Washington, D.C. is too dangerous. We're going to clean that city up and we're going to make it greater. We're going to make it safe so you can go down and you can see the Washington Monument. You can go see Honest Abe, and you can see Thomas Jefferson. They wanted to rip that down. Remember, they wanted to rip down Thomas Jefferson? And I said, that's not going to happen. Remember, I passed that law, an old law that was, they came into town, they wanted to rip down our statues. And I said, well, do they have a point? You know, a couple of them were a little rough, Then I said, well, now I heard they want to rip down Honest Abe Lincoln. Now you're getting a little bit nasty. And I went out, and we were tough. I said, give me that law. I want to sign it immediately. We took it. It was an old law from early 1900s. And it basically said that if you so much as look at or touch any monument anywhere in the country, federal monument, anywhere in the country, you get immediately 10 years in jail with no early getting out stuff. And I signed it with a news conference, remember? I said, anybody that wants to play games with me, you can play games, but it's not going to work out well. And we had a lot of people in Washington. They were having a lot of fun thinking about which statue they're going to take down. And as soon as I signed it, I watched the backs of those people. I don't want to use the word asses. I watched the backs of those people leaving town. They all left town very nicely. We had no problem. But just recently, a month ago, they were in Washington, and they're spray painting beautiful limestone lions and doing tremendous damage, fighting with the police. And by the way, nothing happened to those people. You know, when you spray paint over limestone, you'll see it in 100 years from now because limestone's a very porous. I was really good at real estate and building. Limestone's very porous stone. And that stuff goes right into that. You can't get it out unless you want to do it with a chisel, and that's not going to work. And you're going to see that in 100 years from now. And it's very, very sad. And nothing happened to those people, nothing. I watched it very closely. And they did great destruction, and they had fistfights with our cops, right? They had fistfights.
Unbelievable.
They were rolling in the grass and fighting our police. Nothing happened to them. Under Kamala's economy, millions of Americans are suffering because of inflation. They're losing their jobs. You can't afford housing, groceries, or a car. and yet Kamala is importing millions of illegals across our borders and giving them taxpayer benefits at your expense, while taking the jobs from African Americans and from Hispanic Americans at levels that we have not seen. You're going to see reports coming out very soon. They're trying to hold it until after the election. Hopefully it won't matter because we're going to win by so much. But let them give you the reports of what's happening to our African American population, our Hispanic population. They are taking the jobs of our African Americans and Hispanic Americans, and it's tremendous numbers. And they're going to release these numbers sometime after the election, and everyone's going to be upset, and nothing they can do. You're going to have to wait 4 more years. And I'm not sure we can wait 4 more years, because I don't know that we'll have a country in 4 more years. So you ought to start looking at that, to the fake news media. Show them what's happening to the black population and to the Hispanic population with these people that are coming into our country illegally. You are witnessing the economic oppression of Americans to reward and enrich illegal aliens. It's just like, they come into hotels and they stay in hotels, in luxury hotels, paid for by the government, and they walk past our veterans who are sleeping on the street right in front of that hotel. But all of that stops 2 weeks from tonight.
It'll be a landslide, V. Garney. It's going to be a landslide.
For 4 straight years, Kamala Harris has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo. Not just South America, this is all over the world. We're the dumping ground for the whole world to put their criminals into. And she has resettled them into your communities to prey upon innocent Americans, and that's what they're doing. You just take a look at what's going on in Colorado. Take a look at what's going on there. They're taking over. They're in the real estate business like I am. The only difference is I go out and borrow nice money from a bank. They do it with guns. You see what's going on in Aurora? But it's not just Aurora. It's hundreds of communities. They don't want to talk about it because they don't want to destroy the reputation of the community, and they better start talking about it because they won't have a community. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. It's going to begin. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gang that Kamala has imported into our country. Let them just come in. Remember, she's a stupid person. Open borders. Open borders. As soon as I saw it, I said, well, wait a minute. I know the world. I know many of the leaders of the world, other than the ones that were changed, not that many. I know them. They're smart. They're streetwise, very streetwise people. I said, wait a minute, they're going to let all their prisoners out into our country. When you have open borders, there's no check-in, there's no vetting. And very importantly, Border Patrol, they're phenomenal. They endorsed me last week with the strongest endorsement that you've ever seen. Unanimous. And in the endorsement, they said she is so bad, there's never been anybody bad. That by itself should cause her. Thousands of people voted for me, unanimous endorsement of the Border Patrol, because we had the safest border. Bring down my favorite chart. I love this chart. I sleep with this chart. I kiss this chart every night. I love it. I love this chart. Isn't that a beautiful? Every night I roll it up and I kiss it. Because I wouldn't be here right now without that chart. I look to my right, bing. I said, what the hell happened? But look at that arrow on the bottom. That's when I left office. That's the day I left office right there. That's the lowest we've ever had. This was done by Border Patrol, by the way. And look what happened after I left. There was an explosion, like one of Elon's rocket ships. Look at that. How good is Elon, by the way? Is he good? You know, here's a guy. When you talk about, he is so smart. We're inside, beautiful place, beautiful arena, packed, nice, probably 71 degrees. We finally have air conditioning. Some of these things don't have air conditioning. It's brutal. Congratulations to the people who own this place, whoever the hell owns it. We appreciate the air conditioning. But it's like 71 degrees. It's beautiful. Elon is right now in Pennsylvania politicking because he thinks this is the most important election in history. And he says we won't have a country. How cool is that? And he's registering voters. He's an amazing guy. How cool was the rocket ship that landed the other day, right? I never saw it. I told the show, I don't want to, if you heard it, just turn off your ears for a second. I'm talking to a very important guy, and I have the no sound on the television muted. And I'm looking at the television, talking to this guy. Very important, but quite boring, to be honest with you. I hope he doesn't watch me say this, because he'll be able to figure out who it is. But anyway, I said, wait a minute, would you hold on, please, just for a second? Because I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this 20-story, huge tube pouring down and fire's pouring out of it. And it used to be white, but the heat is thousands of degrees coming down. They say thousands and thousands. So it's been beat up in that trip down. And I see this massive tube is coming down, and the fire's burning, and it's exploding all over the place. I said, oh my, this is terrible. It's going to crash. What the hell is it? I wasn't even sure. Maybe it was a movie. But I'm looking, it's the news. And I see it, and then all of a sudden, it's going to hit the gantry, and boom, a flame comes out of the left and pushes it over like it was nothing. I say, what the hell? And then these two giant arms, boom, they envelop it like a beautiful, I won't say it. I get myself into too much trouble. When I say that stuff, it's so great. I'd like to, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to be politically correct if you don't mind. You know what Elon says? Like two giant chopsticks. See, wouldn't I be better off if I said that? Wouldn't that, Mr. Wall? This guy is the greatest guy. Stand up. I love this guy. Comes to so many of these. And he's a very successful guy, but he likes these rallies. He's had a lot of them. We have the ladies from North Carolina here, too. Would you stand up? I call them the beautiful ladies from North Carolina.
Guess, what's up, guess? I find IRI community a cult. When you question their lives, they are impish kids. Oh, yeah. I think he had to unban most of us since he reached his ban limits. Are you serious, guess? Did he seriously ban so many people that he couldn't ban more people and he had to go in and unban people so that he could keep banning new people? No freaking way.
Carolina, and you're not allowed.
Copper, what's up, Copper? Dude, that's awesome, Copperhead. Good.
Allowed to call ladies beautiful anymore. It's the end of your political career. If you say, aren't they beautiful? That's the end of your political career, but who cares? You are beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. They've come to, what number is this? Like 230 or 240 or something. And they're happily married because I met their husbands. Their husbands are really nice. I don't know how the hell they put up with this stuff. But at least here we're in North Carolina. How long a trip was this? Pretty short, right? Well, that's a long time, 2.5 hours. That's like short compared to Texas, California. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. It's always nice to see them. They're always so brightly dressed. They got plenty of cash, you know. They're so brightly and beautifully dressed all the time and coiffed.
Plenty of cash.
They're beautifully coiffed. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you. And we have our front row jacks. We have our front row Jacks and Joes. Thank you very much. What happened? You're not in the front row. Whoa. These must be very powerful people in the front. Look at these people. Who are these people? They kept the wall back there. Wow. We got to figure this out.
It's the Russians spreading rumors about Tim Walz during the elections. Dude, I feel like it's all too little too late, Guess. I feel like everything the Democrats are doing right now, all these stories about Trump and, oh, Trump said this and, oh, the Russians are doing this. It's too little too late, man. The election's over.
That young man must be a very powerful guy. But we appreciate it. We've had a lot of rallies.
Guitar player, that's awesome. Guitar player, good for you, man. Good for you.
And we're going to have our biggest of all at Madison Square Garden. We're going to make a play.
Yeah, Trump has never had a sip of alcohol. He's never smoked a cigarette, and he's never tried any drugs.
For New York hasn't been one in many, many decades, but with what's going on in New York between the illegal migrants and the crime they're causing and hurting people so badly and all of the problems in New York, we're going to give it a hell of a shot. So we took Madison Square Garden. We filled it up. Think of this, sold out in 3 hours. Done. Can you?
Altair, what's up, Altair? I don't want to get too confident, though. I don't think there was any way he would allow someone as stupid as Biden to act as president. I'm still worried they're going to find 120K mail-in votes in a county with 80K people. Yeah. I went over that Harris shit show that she said kids and children and refereed to having them. She made claims her kids are the ones affected. Yeah. Oh, is that comment that I made? Guess when she was talking about claiming that her own kids were affected by whatever, by school shootings or something. She married into that family and his kids were near college age. Right, Guess, right. And yet she acts like she's their mom. And it's like, no, that kid was 15 years old. It's like, dude, by the time the kid's 15, it's like all of their important years have basically gone by.
Can you imagine?
But to go back to Altair's comment, Altair, I mean, I don't want to get too confident either. I don't want to be overconfident. This is how I feel. I'm just calling it like it is. Like, I'm just telling you how I feel. If I was actually worried, I would tell you guys. I would say, I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm not worried at all.
If a normal politician, and I don't say this in any way, just say if a politician, like take our best politician, after me, take our best politician. If you had 250, 300 people, that would, you'd have 300 people in a ballroom or something. Ronald Reagan would have 350 people, 400 people. We sell out these things, 25,000 people at Madison Square Garden because we use the floor, right? The basketball. So we have the whole thing, holds 18 or 19,000. We have the floor. And it's sold out in 3 hours, so that's a great honor. But we're going to do a big one in the Atlanta arena. We're trying to sign the Philadelphia arena. We had tremendous success in Long Island, where the ice hockey team plays, the Islanders, and we could have sold that thing out 4 times. It was incredible. So we're doing them, and we're sort of, it's sad because we're sort of wrapping it up. You know that, right? We've been doing this now for a long time. We had 2 unbelievable elections. We had 2. But we are. I didn't even think of it. I was being interviewed by a very good person today, actually, and that person said, when you did Madison Square Garden, it's in a week, and said, is that sort of wrapping it all up, right? And I said, I never thought of it that way, but I guess you could. It's sort of wrap it. We have a few days left after that, but we sort of are. When you think we've been doing it from 2015, and now we're where we are. So we're, talking about 9 years, almost 10 years by the time we do it. And there's something, and think of what we've done. This is the greatest movement in political history. I mean, there's never been anything like that. Right? True. The greatest movement in political history. And I know, oh, look, there's Uncle Sam back there. Look at that guy. He shook my hand. This guy's got the hardest handshake. My hand is still recovering from his handshake. Uncle Sam, how are you? And I have no idea.
Oh yeah, guess. Yeah, Bill Clinton let it slip. Bill Clinton let it slip that if we had been vetting these immigrants, that none of these crimes would have ever happened. Yeah, Bill Clinton's in the doghouse.
Who he is, I promise you. Somebody says, "Oh, do you pay these people?" I don't pay them. I don't pay the wall. I don't pay Uncle Sam. But they're incredible patriots. And you know what? They're very smart people. They're incredible people. But this is like a football game to some. You know, they come in, these guys, they're accountants. They head accounting firms, law firms, and they got the name of some football player in the back. I don't know if I could do that. Well, maybe Lawrence Taylor. He's my friend. I'll come in with a Lawrence Taylor. These are all guys. We have a lot of endorsements from athletes, that I can tell you. But thank you, Uncle Sam. But you know, it's sort of interesting. I never thought of it. It's sort of we're wrapping it up. We're wrapping up something that has...
Say what you want about Bill, but he does have two redeemable qualities. He was pro-Confederate flag when he was governor in Arkansas, and he signed DOMA. There you go, Copperhead. Oh, a famous TikToker was in my area stumping for Harris and Walls. I told him if they did not leave my property, I'd have them arrested for trespassing. I did it all for my Ring doorbell. Oh, that's awesome, Guess. Good for you. Man, we truly do live in the future. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. I still don't have a Ring doorbell or anything like that, just because, like, for me, it's more of like, I don't know, almost a privacy thing. I've thought about getting like surveillance cameras and getting like a surveillance system set up at my house, but like, dude, I've got my guns here. Like, anybody tries anything, like I don't know. I'm just not like, I think it's a little bit weird to set up. I don't think it's that weird because I've thought about it, and I mean, I'd like to have it if I had, but at the same time, there's also something just a little bit creepy about it to me. I'm not sure what it is. Jay Brown, Kiss One, what's up, guys? Yes, you guys can post however many links you want in chat.
It's been incredible. There's never been anything like this. The rallies, the size of them,
thank you,
the enthusiasm, and we have more enthusiasm now than we did for 2016 or 2020. But we really started in 2015. You know, about a year before, a little less than a year before. We started in 2015, and it's been really amazing. It's been great. It's been great to be with you, and now we want to close it out with a beautiful bang, and we want to straighten out the country, and we're going to thank you, darling. I pray for you, too. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But it's been like a movement of love, you know, and it's like, you know, when we first started, there used to be like some fights, and there were problems where you have fight. Not much, but we had some. It's been, and I don't want to jinx it by saying, but it's been like love. It's been like amazing. It is. And you know what? The people back there, when I say things, if I'm a little bit off, they'll go headlines. And I don't mean to be a little bit off, but this is the single greatest political movement in the history of our country. There's never been anything like that. And if it wasn't, if it were just slightly behind some other movement that nobody could even come close to talking about, they would have headlines. I have to be very careful when I say things. But he said that, and he said, "Is this wrapping it up?" And I never thought of it. I didn't think of it that way. We're in the heart of battle, and we have to win our country. And then we're going to have 4 great years, and that's a different kind of a battle. But for what we're doing, for the campaigning, this will be, we're pretty much, we're 14 days from sort of wrapping it up. And we're going to have different kinds of get-togethers. And hopefully it's going to be get-togethers of success. We're going to base it on success. We're going to have great success with this country. We're going to bring back our businesses. We're going to stop crime in the streets. We're going to close up our borders. We're going to let people come in to our country. We need people to take all these jobs we're going to be creating a lot of jobs just by the very smart use of tariffs, taxes, and incentives. Just like I told you, just come up with one. And literally, I did it with a friend of mine who's a great business person. I said, "What do you think of the idea, like the idea of the deduction for a car interest deduction for a car. But then I said, but to get it, you have to build the car in the United States. Who would think of that? You know, it sounds simple, like the paperclip. It's very simple. Somebody came up 129 years ago or something. They came up with the paperclip. And other people looked at it and they said, how the hell come, why didn't I think of this idea? And now you'll have everybody come out and say, we're going to deduct interest, but you know what? It doesn't have the same ring. No, that's a big deal. We're going to make so many cars in Detroit with that. That's going to be so big. But I said, wait a minute, if I do this, what are we going to do? Make more cars in China? You know, China, I put a tariff on China. He's got 27.5%. And because of that, they're not flooding our country. They're destroying Europe. They're just flooding Europe with cars. But we've kept our car companies, and but it's a fraction of what it used to be. We had the glory days. We were making everybody's cars. The Cadillac was the most beautiful. To my father, having a Cadillac, he'd get a Cadillac every 2 years. That was his definition of luxury. I just want a Cadillac every 2 years.
Man, Trump is on fire tonight, man. Trump is totally off script tonight. Trump is really killing it tonight in North Carolina. He's on point.
And today, you know, they don't talk so much about that. We're going to take care of our military better. We're going to take care of our military better than anybody. You know, with the...
Yeah, I've seen nonstop Polymarket stuff. Copperhead. All I see anymore is Polymarket.
Our military, we took care of our veterans better than anybody has ever taken care. We took care of our veterans. We got a 92% approval rating. And now it's back down to
I do think there's a lot there, Copperhead. I do think it's important. I do think that the fact that the betting markets are showing that does impact my thinking as well. To me, it's a combination of common sense, my own personal experiences, my own personal beliefs, my own anecdotes, plus the polling, plus the economic data, plus the size of Trump rallies, plus the betting markets. All of those things lead me to believe Trump is going to win this.
44 or 43, we did choice. We had choice. So if a person had to wait, one of our great, because I call them heroes, one of our great heroes had to wait for a doctor.
TLS, what's up,
they
TLS?
Could go out. If they had to wait more than one day, they go out and they get a doctor, we pay the bill. And in the end, it was not only was it good for them, it was also even efficient, because some of these people were dying. They'd wait for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. And we have great doctors in the VA, but the problem was the administration. And our guys did a fantastic job. We did another thing in the VA. We got rid of all the sadists and the sickos or wackos. You couldn't fire them because of civil service laws. And I got this all passed.
Is that right? Black and milds are I've gone from 99 cents to $1.60, and people are upset. I believe it, man. I believe it.
We got this all passed in Congress. It was an amazing thing to get it passed in Congress. They were trying for 58 years for one and for 54 years for the other. And it worked out great. And now I understand that as of like yesterday, they're trying to get rid of, they call it choice, where you have a choice of going outside, getting a doctor. And I understand that they're trying to end that program. They don't like that program, that this group of people that have no idea what they're doing don't like it, so they'll go back to waiting. But we'll get it back. We'll get it back so fast your head will spin. They want to end it. They don't like it for some reason. I don't know why, but they don't like it. People were getting instant care, and it wasn't very expensive when you take into the fact that, and just take a look at this. You have a guy, he gets sicker, then he becomes terminally ill, and they have to take care. In the end, I think it's probably cost effective, but I don't even care about the cost in that case. We take care of our people. Who would want to wait months to get, in some cases, a simple pill or a simple shot? And it was a terrible thing, but we had a 92% approval rating, the highest ever. The people that I had there did a fantastic job. We're going to bring it all back. We're going to bring it back fast. And one other thing,
Copper.
I mean,
Thank you.
isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to read these stupid teleprompters, isn't it? Sort of interesting. I haven't looked at him in the last 15 minutes. You know, it's like interesting, but it's, I just do what we have to do. But you know, we did another program, Right to Try. It's the greatest thing. For 51 years, they've been trying to get it because we have the best doctors, the best lab technicians, the best labs, the best everything. And nobody could get it done. We would have something that really looked good for a certain disease or problem. It really looked good, but they couldn't do anything because the FDA wouldn't be able to approve it for years. I got that number way down, by the way, but they wouldn't be able to approve it for years. And what would happen was terrible. They would go to Asia, they'd go to Europe, they'd go all over, if they had money. Most of them didn't have money. They'd go home and they'd die. They'd die. So I said, we got to do something about this. And they've been trying for 50 years. They couldn't get it done because the doctors didn't want it because of the liability. The insurance companies certainly didn't want it. The labs didn't want it. Nobody wanted it, but nobody, everybody, they knew it was good, but they didn't want it. I got everybody into a room and I said, listen, we're going to sign an agreement. There's not going to be any liability to anybody. If somebody's terminally ill, they're going to sign a document that they're not going to sue the insurance company, they're not their family. They're not going to sue anybody. They're not going to sue the doctor, the lab. They're not going to sue anybody. Everything's going to be fine, and we're going to try it and see how it works. It's been so successful. We have saved thousands and thousands of lives with this new medicine. It's a new age. I call it new age medicine. But we've saved thousands of people. People don't write about it. It's called Right to Try. A lot of people know. I hope nobody needs it, to be honest with you. But you know, it's been so. I've never read anything about it. They don't want to write about it, and if they don't, that
Crackheads can't even smoke crack anymore because Biden is getting it all fentanyl. I believe that. I did some digging with my friends who are still working for Amazon. They told me the Amazon Slack channels are being monitored because employees wanted answers about mocking vets and PTSD, and it seems the ADL got sent recording of Forgan streams and chat messages she made in Hassan chat as mod from Aiden Ross. ADL made CEO Jassy office act to get them banned, so Aiden tweets are true. Wow, I know that there's been all sorts of stuff going on about that. No possible way did The Atlantic really do a thing that says Trump is literally Hitler. Trump, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. They changed the headline. It's no longer that. Oh, it must be on replies that he's been tweeting. What the heck? Aiden Ross hasn't even really been tweeting lately. Trump, I need give me a break.
That's okay. The fact is that thousands of people have been saved. Their lives have been saved.
Did you hear McDonald's was down $32 in after-hours trading because of CDC? I did hear about that. Yeah, some people are thinking that's just backlash to McD's for the Trump troll the other day. That's what it kind of sounded like to me, TLS. When I first saw that news, I was like, really? The day after Trump does a campaign event at McDonald's, now the CDC releases a report saying McDonald's does E. coli? Huh. I'm all in on one stock right now, and I'm up 247%. Wow, good for you.
And many were terminal, and now they're actually okay. They're not even terminal. It's not like they have to even go. It literally cured. And even the doctors now and the medical, the medical companies, the labs, they're really happy they did it, because when you can cure somebody when they're that sick, it really shows it works. It sort of works out the opposite.
Right.
It really shows that it works. So Right to Try, it's been a great thing, and we're honored to have done it. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country, the Savage Venezuelan prison gang. They form in the Venezuelan prisons. It's called Tren de Aragua, that's taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terror spree in our country. Let's take a look. Take a look at this.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment.
I love how Donald Trump complains about the mainstream media not showing his video clips when he plays them at rallies, and yet on his own freaking YouTube channel, he's not showing the video clips when he plays video clips at his rally.
Illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged.
Dude, look at this. Wall Street pros get into position to profit from a Trump win. While polling shows a tight race, investors are putting on wagers that could pay off if Trump beats Harris. Dude, so the investors and the Wall Street pros are now expecting a Trump win. Wow, what a statement here on October 22nd. Before you were a lawyer, did you ever work fast food? Actually, yes, Guitar. Not fast food, but I did work in the food industry. I worked at a restaurant. I actually worked at the restaurant. It was actually like kind of like a bar / steakhouse type restaurant. But I washed dishes, man. And I was in high school. I was probably 17 at the time, 16 or 17, 18, something like that. I don't know. And I washed dishes. I was low man. I was low man on the totem pole. I was the lowest of the low. I was below everybody in there. I was washing dishes, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. Actually, it was that job. It was actually that job, washing dishes, and how disgusting that was, washing dishes at a restaurant. How disgusting of a job that was, and horrible was one reason I was motivated to do well in college. It shit ain't easy washing dishes, man. You don't want to wash dishes at a steakhouse. Some large... Okay, we gotta... I kind of want to read Wall Street Journal, but we gotta watch Trump.
Capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman
true,
last
TLS,
month are
true.
members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville.
Copper. I think that would be considered non-humanitarian or something like that.
Police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
That's what's happening. These are the people we're letting in. And you remember where she was saying that they don't commit crimes like our people. Really? These are worse than anybody we...
Hey, Copperhead, think about this, Copperhead. Think about this, Copperhead. You work at a gas station, and I am a partner at a prestigious law firm, and we're both here. We're both doing the same exact thing. We're both on Twitch. We're both talking to people on the internet about politics. We're both watching this Trump rally. We're both doing the exact same thing. Ain't that interesting?
They make our criminals look like they're nice people. These are rough, horrible people. They could not be allowed to stay in our country. The United States is now an occupied...
Oh, yeah, and guess Trump is destroying Kamala on TikTok numbers, too.
...country, in effect. But on November 5th, 2024, we will have a thing called Liberation Day. We're going to have Liberation...
I wash dishes at Wendy's. Nice, guitar player. I wonder, that must not be as bad, though, guitar player. I wonder, because you're not dealing with customers' plates, right? You don't have to deal with customers, like, disgusting stuff. I guess sort of you would still, some. Potentially. Yo! Guess with the gift of sub to tier 1 to guitar player. Thank you, Guess. Guitar Player with the free sub for the month. Guitar Player, enjoy no ads for a month. Enjoy, man. Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Good sub gift. Good sub gift. Good recipient.
In the last year alone, over 70,000 illegal aliens from China have crossed our border. You know about that. Many of them military-aged men, 70,000 in a year. 70,000, that's getting to be Army territory. And that's the equivalent of over 14 brigades or 5 Army divisions of Chinese illegals that have penetrated our country. Again, these are military-aged, mostly men, almost all men. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that nice? Under Borders O'Hara, she has no idea. The woman doesn't have a clue. Again, she's sleeping now while I'm working my ass off. Under Borders O'Hara, there have been at least 2 million gotaways. That's gotaways. They come through and nobody knows where the hell they're from. And that's, by the way, nobody has any idea. The number, if they think it's 2 million, it's probably 5 times that amount.
That doesn't sound as bad, Guitar Player. That doesn't sound as bad as like old steak bones and like half-eaten potatoes and stuff like that. My niece, goddaughter, started at work in Taco Bell part-time. It was close to her home. She liked the hours. She went to college, got a degree in graphics art. She worked night school during the day. After she graduated, she bought the Taco Bell she worked at. Since she was debt-free from working and getting jobs with the degree. Wow, good for her, guys. That's impressive. John drives cars. What's up, John? Welcome. Did you hear the right-wing Italian politician who said we're deporting everyone but the pretty girls can stay? No, I didn't. That's hilarious, though, Copperhead. I agree with that.
2 million gotaways from all over the world who charged the border and disappeared into the United States. They could be living right next to you in North Carolina, a lovely house, little cabin right next to you. More than the entire active duty force of the United States military. This is the kind of numbers we're talking about, and they're rough. They're rough people. Who would have allowed this to happen? Who would have allowed this to happen? The only good thing coming from this crime against our country is if you happen to be the person that's running against the idiots that allowed it to take place. That's me. I'm running against them. It's good to run against it, but I'd rather not be running against it, and I'd rather not have it.
No, it was like a local type restaurant, Guitar Player. It was not a chain. It was like locally owned.
Happen. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We have no idea. We have no choice. It's not sustainable. I will rescue every town across America that's been invaded and conquered. They're conquering. They are conquering towns. And these fools, these stupid people back there, the media, they're going to say, oh, he used the word conquer. The governor of Colorado, he's a radical left Democrat. He's petrified he doesn't know what to do. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in a jail or kick them the hell out of our country as fast as we can.
Silvo. Oh, I didn't know it was Silvo Berlusconi. He's no longer a politician. He's a disgraced, former prime minister. The Italian prime minister. Wait. He's the current prime minister? Oh, this is from 2010. Oh, okay. I didn't realize this is from 2010.
And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that.
Yeah, 21, you could definitely still go into the military at 21, yep.
1790, you know why? That's when we had real politicians, real people that knew what to do, not these weak, woke fools. So I have to go back to 1798, can you believe it? But it's a strong one. Think of it, Alien Enemies Act of 1798, and they used it to to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil to make our people safe. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty. And we have to do this. I'm calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or an law enforcement officer. You kill an American citizen or a law enforcement officer, you get the death penalty. And we'll get that approved, too, because Congress is going to approve it. They're feeling...
Trades are good, Copperhead. I mean, electricians and plumbers don't necessarily end up with knee pain. Although, yeah, I mean, any of the trades, HVAC, electrician, plumber, carpenter, like, those are the ones that you would want to consider, I think. Underwater welder, work half the year. Oh, hell yeah, Numb. Dude, I remember back in the day, like a decade ago or whatever, when the Bakken was booming. Remember that, guys? Remember when the Bakken oil boom was booming in North Dakota? Dude, I had tons of friends that had nothing but a high school education that were going over there making $100K, $150K a year, doing all sorts of stuff.
The way you are, I will end catch and release. Thank you.
Well, yeah, so Copperhead, so like what would your choice be? Did you say it earlier? Game Warden? Dude, Game Warden's freaking awesome. That's not easy though, Copperhead. It is not easy to become a Game Warden, I don't think. I'm assuming like everybody wants to become a Game Warden, don't they? That's an extremely highly sought after job. That's awesome, Numb. Heck yeah. I'm in the right rally, Ohio Bacon. Jesus is Lord. Amen.
I have to ask this man in the black, are you the man that I met yesterday or not? That's a pretty, you're just as good. No, I met some great people yesterday. I saw the devastation. It was incredible. He just said, no, you didn't meet me, but I love you, man. Thank you. That's cool. You're very cool. You're very cool. Thank you. I will end. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will end all migrant flights. You know, they fly in by plane. They come in. You know, we only learned that like less than a year ago. They said, we're going to start closing up the border a little bit. Well, all they have to do, she could walk into the White House, say, wake Biden up. I want him to sign something. And all he has to do is say, close the border. He doesn't need a bill. The bill was so horrible. You know, he says, Donald Trump called the Senate, said, don't pass it. It's wonderful. I wish I could do that, okay? Not that easy. But the truth is...
Yeah, really. That's what I've always thought. It's like, I wish Donald Trump could just call the U.S. Senate and call the U.S. House and like tell them to pass bills or not pass bills. That's hilarious.
I had nothing to do with it, and I would be proud to do it because it was such a bad bill. But he doesn't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I closed the border. I had the safest border. You see it. I had the safest border in the history of our country. We now have the worst border in the history of the world, maybe in the history of the world. And again, it's the number one thing to campaign on. I mean, I think the...
Okay, hold on. Guess. I saw that Pisco was like threatening to sue Rob for libel and slander for using lawyer in quotes. I saw that, but I haven't heard of this latest thing about Rob joking that he's in violation of the rules of professional conduct Dude, good for Rob for, I'm assuming, and guess. I don't even know the story, but I can guarantee you what happened. Here's what happened, right? The Democrats constantly go after conservative lawyers' law licenses and constantly file ethics complaints. And every time a conservative lawyer says something Democrats disagree with, they say it's a professional misconduct allegation. And they're trying to take away law licenses of Montana's Attorney General Austin Knudsen, best AG in the country. They're trying to take away the law licenses of other Republican AGs. And somebody just filed a law license complaint against Liz Cheney for improperly communicating with Cassidy Hutchinson, who she knew was represented by counsel, and communicated directly with her without her counsel involved anyway. And so he was joking about all of that issues and saying, oh, if all of that's okay, then Pisco, you probably violated it too. I guarantee you. Rob would never do that. No, exactly. So that Rob was joking about it.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
Yeah, Barack Obama, you're the one that caused it. Honestly, Biden is secretly based. He's trying to make America so terrible all the migrants just go home. Right. A lawyer that has enough time to threaten a Twitch streamer with 100 viewers is probably not getting much business. I don't know, Altair. I have more business than I can handle, and I have enough time to come on here and screw around on twitch.tv pretty much every day. Rob would never do that, but Pisco is an arrogant POS. They tried to go after Ken Paxton and a home caretaker. Oh, yeah. Rob takes care of special needs people. He's practically a saint. Yeah, seriously, Numb. That's incredible. He does home health care for people with special needs. That's incredible. Good for him. That ain't easy at all. How did he get into that, I wonder? I'd like to talk to Rob about, like, how did you get into that career path? But it put him on notice that you can't say dumb stuff and make threats to intimidate people who call you out? No, for sure, Guess. It's like, here's the thing, Guess. Here, think about this, Guess. Think about this, Guess. Okay. I have been streaming on Twitch for over 10 years, and I've had lots of leftists accuse me of all sorts of rotten things and say all sorts of libelous and slanderous things. Guess how many other Twitch streamers and other leftists online I've put on notice and made legal demands and legal threats against? Zero.
Inflation is horrible. The economy, everything. We have a lot of bad things. The number, when you see those killers, those guys that have military stuff.
Exactly, Guess. They literally did way worse than just put lawyer in quotes, and I did nothing but laugh about it. Exactly, yeah.
Weapons.
Sure,
people are saying, where the hell do people coming out of Venezuela, young thugs that are tough as hell, by the way, where do they get this equipment? But I think it's the number one thing that we're going to have.
Dude, I would be like, yo, if Pisco started making legal threats and legal demands against me, I'd be like, yo, did you have your law firm run a conflict check and do matter approval processes for you to go against LectureFan?
I fixed it in 2016. I fixed it. I did it so good I couldn't talk about it for the next election. My people said, sir, they don't want to hear about the border. I said, what do you mean you don't want to hear? I did such a great job. I fixed it. We had the best border. But that border was 5% of what it is now. That border was bad. It was really bad, but it wasn't very tough for me to fix. That border was nothing compared to the mess you have now. We don't have a border. And I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build. Then we added 200, and they didn't want to put up the slats. And you know what they did? Many of them were sold for 5 cents on the dollar. It's just so sold. I will outlaw sanctuary cities immediately, and I will ban all welfare and federal benefits for illegals. We are running against the most radical, most incompetent, most unfit vice president running for president. Can you believe it? In the history of our country, she's totally unfit for office. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. And something is clearly wrong with her. Something is wrong with her. Something's wrong with her, and something's wrong with this vice president. He is off. She can't put 2 sentences together. How about 60 Minutes? Was that the greatest? You know, we're probably going to sue him just for the hell of it. Listen. 60 Minutes, she interviews. She was so bad. She gave an answer. This never happened to me. Why does it happen? She gave an answer that was so bad that they changed it. They took it out, threw it out. They didn't like edit a little bit, take a word out. No. They took the entire, it was a long, stupid, she didn't know where the hell she was going.
Can I ask a law question? If there's a grown man buying my 13-year-old cousin alcohol and I jump him, is that a charge? I would assume so, yes. I have no idea. I would assume yes, though, unfortunately. Can you imagine the judge in that lawsuit? No, that would suck. We told Rob Pisco sues. We will GoFundMe to hire your firm just for the judge to tell Pisco you're wasting our time. Case dismissed. That would be hysterical, guess. Pisco forgot he's now a public figure, so the bar for defamation and slander is so high he has no chance of winning. Yeah, he's made himself a public figure. That is, I would say that's probably true. He's put himself out there. He's voluntarily put himself out there as a public figure. So yeah, he doesn't get the fight against that argument.
Does she drink? Is she on drugs? I don't know. I have no idea.
Trump, I have no idea.
She writes 60 Minutes, big 60 Minutes CBS. They have to be licensed by the federal government. They should take their license away. What they did, CBS, and they're all bad. How about David Muir? How bad is he? I said, crime is going up. And he said, no, it's not. It's going down. I said, it's going up. He said, crime is going down. Next question. The next day, they released the numbers. Crime's up 45% in our country. I don't watch him anymore.
Yes, Ohio Bacon. I heard about Asman's suspension, and I heard about Frogan's suspension. And, dude, it's like Twitch. Maybe if you didn't ban people for what they said, maybe then you wouldn't be getting constantly in hot water about, oh, did you ban this person? Oh, you did not ban this person. Oh, this ban was worse than that ban, and this ban should have been worse than that ban. How about just stop banning people for things they say?
BTR in front. Place the detonators where we can keep them on the ground.
What, dude? That's insane. Cap here, the closest one to Cap.
That'd be Virginia. So once we get past the supply point, which will be on, just keep going. I'll let you know where to go.
Hey, we need to set some charges up there in those hidey holes and
BTR in
then
front.
place the detonators where we can
BTR in front. BTR in front. That was a good one. That was a fun time. Let me just do a couple more of these stupid things. None of these do very well, so.
dropped off in the southeast. BTR is engaging from top of the road. That hind is on fire. Good shit. Chopper, yeah.
Good shit. I love the radio comms. Some of these Arma, dude, the Arma radio comms from other players is some of the most hilarious stuff in this game. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. Sorry. Yes, Eric. I believe in reforming those programs and fixing those programs and sort of slowly starting to phase them out. So slowly send them back to the states. Slowly, like.
More. Pretty boy, little pretty boy he is. So they think it. She gives this horrible answer. They take every word of it and they throw it away and they insert another answer. That's called election interference and it's called fraud. And they should have their life. And you know, all the other guys back there are sticking up for them. You know why? Because they do the same thing probably. They don't do it for me. You know what they do with me? They make my answer worse. They write. No, they take out, like if I give, because I do the weave. You know the weave? I'll tell a story and I'll go from here being, it's actually genius, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, guess we've known that for a long time, right? We've known for a very long time that Kamala Harris has horribly high turnover in her staff, that she's a terrible boss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've known all that for a long, long time. It's been reported in the mainstream media. It's just that the Democrats don't want anybody talking about that, so it's not talked about in mainstream media anymore.
Fair and smart people say it's total genius, but they say, oh, he wandered. I didn't wander. Wander is when you don't get back to the same point. No, I give the wave. They don't do anything for me. What they do with me is I give a beautiful paragraph, and they'll take some of the primary sentences out.
Oh, yeah, the cocaine. Was the cocaine in the White House not Hunter Biden's and actually Kamala Harris's? No, I still would have to land on it likely being Kamala's. Dude, should we watch Obama's thing?
That's terrible to do. But that you can sort of get away with. You know, I can even understand it. They want to make it a little shorter. They want a little more time. You know, they don't pay anything for their license. They have a license that's worth billions of dollars. They don't pay anything. Neither does NBC Fake News. And ABC Fake News is really one of the worst, I will tell you. ABC, but this is CBS. They don't pay for, they use our airwaves. They don't pay anything. And then you hear that 60 Minutes, which is a news show, it's under their news division. So they're not allowed. This isn't an entertainment show. But they took the sentence, not the sentence, they took a whole paragraph, big paragraph, just word after word. That was like the 32 that I listened to, you know, 32, with the teleprompter where she basically choked and froze like a dog. But that was like the 32. They took it out and they inserted a new answer that was more rational. Wasn't great, but it was, at least you don't say, what's wrong with this person? Where did you ever hear them doing that? That's called election. This is an election. We're in the middle of an election. She gave a horrible answer on a news show that pays nothing for the airwaves that are worth billions of dollars. And the other networks stick up because they don't want it to happen to them either. They don't want to see a bidding contest for who's going to do the news. But there has to be some kind of justice in this country. You can't take her answer out, insert a new answer, and say, this is called major election interference fraud. So we'll see what happens. I actually think it's the biggest scandal in broadcast history. I really believe that. I think it's the biggest scandal. Nobody's seen anything like it.
It really is mind-boggling. Like, holy crap. They actually blatantly, like, flat out, purposefully, deceptively swapped out an answer for a different one to lie to you. That's blatant. Yo, Eric, what's up, Eric?
People are furious about it, and they always come up with some answer. Well, we did this because of that, and that. You know, they took the answer out. They put a new answer.
That's ridiculous, guitar
player. There's nothing. There's no justification. So we're probably going to take them to court. Should I take them to court? Okay. So we've asked them.
I know, Altair. Donald Trump is hysterical. The guy has one of the best sense of humors of anybody I know. I'd love to see Trump as a comedian.
Sent him a letter yesterday. We've asked for the entire transcript, and we want to see.
Like Altair, think if Donald Trump could go unhinged, like full blown locker room talk with Donald Trump. Think if he didn't have to worry about anything, what he would be like and how he would sound. Can you even imagine?
Did they do it in other places too? And we'll see what happens. But good. So I have your permission, right? Who would think of these things? I mean, who would think? And it was a mistake. They made a mistake. That's how everybody found them. They made a mistake. They put out the original answer. Somehow somebody saw the original answer, said, that's not the answer she gave. And when they went back, they feel it was, they found out it was a fraud. It was a fraud on the American public, and they should pay a big price for it. And if they do pay a big price, it won't happen anymore. She's an international joke, and she's going to end up getting us into World War III, and Kamala is in free fall. You know, she's in free fall with Arab and Muslim voters. Now, in Michigan, did you notice that my poll numbers are very good with the Arab voters? Did you see that? My poll numbers are very good. I appreciate it. You know why? You know why they are? Because I want peace in the Middle East. I want peace. I did the Abraham Accords. I want peace in the Middle East. So it's very simple. It's not, I want to see peace in the Middle East. But my poll numbers in Michigan are very good with they were supposed to, I was supposed to be 0, she was supposed to be 100. Now I'm beating her because they see how bad she is. But they don't like or respect her. She's sent their overseas, I mean, you take a look. She's sent their jobs overseas. She's brought in crime to the cities. She's taken in all of this tremendous fire. She's okay with it that took place in the Middle East. But you ask yourself, why would Muslims support Lion Kamala Harris when she embraces Muslim-hating and very dumb person Liz Cheney, a dumb person, who, by the way, lost for Congress in the biggest margin in the history of politics. She lost by almost 40 points. The reason she has that honor is that most people wouldn't have stayed in. A congressperson that's in that position normally retires before the election, which would have been a good idea for her to do. But Liz Cheney's a total loser. But her father brought years of war and death to the Middle East. He killed many Arabs, many Arabs and Muslims. And now Lion Kamala has embraced Liz Cheney. She embraced her. And why would a Muslim or why would an Arab want to vote for somebody that has Liz Cheney as her hero? Liz Cheney is a totally failed politician. Again, she set the worst record. I think it's a terrible mistake that she's made. I think it's a great insult to Muslims all over the world, and I think that she's going to do very bad in Michigan. I really do. I think she's going to do very badly. To do that was a bad thing, and I was very surprised to see it. But in one way, I was happy because you have to understand I'm competing against her. I'm competing against this stupid person. I think we are winning by a lot. I have a feeling we're winning by a lot. But this person cannot be president. By the way, is there any place better to be than a Trump rally? And don't get used to this, because it's only going to go on for another 2 weeks, isn't it? It's really simple. It's only going to go on in 4 years, you'll be having rallies of 100 people, 200 people. Mr. Wall will be doing other things. Front row Joes are going to be doing, oh, these guys are boring as hell. We got two more weeks together with our big, we had 101,000 people in Butler. Think of that. We had 107,000 people in New Jersey. We're making a move for New Jersey, too. And 2 weeks ago in California, we had 109,000 people. So don't get too used to this. What are you going to do, Mr. Wall, when you come to a rally and there's like 150 people? What are you going to do? Oh. Yeah. You like, right? Right. That's very good. That's good. Good man, I'll tell you that. When the people of North Carolina were stranded and drowning in Hurricane Helene, Kamala Harris was at a glitzy fundraiser in the city that she destroyed, San Francisco. She spent the last 4 years taking your money to provide shelter and benefits to illegal aliens, but when North Carolina needed help, Kamala Harris was nowhere to be found. You know, they spent your money. You know, they're going to probably have to call an emergency meeting, a special session of Congress, because the illegal migrants, many of them killers, many of them drug dealers, many of them released from prison, have taken the money that they were supposed to spend in North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and Florida and South Carolina. The money was supposed to be spent in those states, and they don't have the money now. They don't have the money because they've spent hundreds, think of it, hundreds of millions of dollars they've spent flying migrants into states all over the country and letting them go through your porous wall. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the smarts, or the strength to be president of the United States. She can't do the job. She's not mentally or physically able to do the job.
Amen.
And on top of all of it, she says she would not do anything differently. She would not do anything differently, she said, than crooked Joe Biden, which is disqualifying. When you see this tape, you're going to say
Holy cow, dude. Okay, so this started streaming. Donald Trump, I'm like 20 minutes behind live, guys. I'm like 20 minutes behind live because I paused it. So, but I can tell that Trump is still speaking live. An hour and 45 minutes later, Donald Trump has now been going for almost 2 hours.
He's disqualified. He's the worst president. 85% wrong direction. What would you do differently? Well, I can't think of anything now. Let's take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Bringing you details of the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. 2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of John.
Thank you. Congressman Dan Bishop.
Numb. I've watched the Kamala rally. It was 25 minutes, Numb. I was blown away by it, Numb. I was blown away by it. They had this huge pageantry, a big, huge arena full of people, these signs and music and all. And she got up there, spoke for 25 minutes and was gone. I was like, whoa, what? All of that for 25 minutes?
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. A man who's been really fantastic. All I know is they had more people show up in the last 4 days than in 2016 or 2020. And many of these people lost their homes. They lost everything. And we had more people. We set a record. Can you believe that? That shows enthusiasm. That shows North Carolina GOP Chair Jason Simmons. Thank you, Jason. Great job. How are we doing, Jason? We're going to win the state big, I hope? 3 times in a row, right? Jason's great. A great friend of mine and really a friend of my boy, Don Addison McDowell. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you, Addison. Oh, you're looking better and better. Look at you. Looks like a real congressman. He's going to be fantastic. Somebody that I've got a lot of respect for. I have for a long time. From the day I met him, I respected him. He was a very successful businessman. He was a great senator. He's a very special guy. David Perdue. David? Thank you. Thank you, David. Thanks. One of the biggest and best developers around, a man who's made a lot of money, and he's very generous, including with North Carolina. He writes a check for everything. He's just a great person, a very generous man. Steve Witkoff. Steve, thank you. But she's here tonight, and I'm going to just ask her to come up and say a couple of words. Tulsi Gabbard.
Today's Democrat Party is completely unrecognizable, which points to the clear choice that we have in this election today. When you look at the party of Kamala Harris, for example, she is anti-freedom, she is pro-censorship, she is pro-open borders, and she is pro-war. Without even pretending to care about peace, as President Trump talked about, she has shamelessly embraced the endorsement and support of warmongers like Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney and others who care more about power and feeding the military-industrial complex than they care about you, the American people, and peace. President Trump has pledged to end wars, not start them. And this is why, in the eyes of the Kamala Harris, Dick Cheney Democrat Party, they will do everything possible to try to destroy him.
I don't know, TLS.
You'll see how they have weaponized the federal government. They have weaponized law enforcement, the Department of Justice. They have done everything possible to try to silence him, to try to remove him from the ballot, so we the people don't even have the choice to who we want to vote for. Why have they done this? Because this man has the courage to take them on and root out the deep rot of corruption in the swamp in Washington. Now, voters have made their voices heard loud and clear, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the last 3 presidential elections, nominating this man to be the Republican nominee for president because of his commitment to these fundamental American principles of freedom and peace and prosperity. USA. Now, to those of you here or those watching at home who are independent-minded people like myself, who love our country and are committed to the Constitution and to freedom, the Democrat Party has no home for people like us. But we do have a home in the Republican Party where we are welcomed with open...
Do you think she'll get a spot in Trump's cabinet? I would say yeah. I would say yes, Num. I would, if not in his cabinet, then some position that's like high level position that's not in the cabinet, like National Security Advisor, which is like an incredibly important. Dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to like cover the Trump presidency and to talk about it and to think about it and stuff. Like, for example, dude, who should Trump have as his national security advisor? And there's lots of like young and up and coming people that are going to be coming into this administration. Frankly, I should submit I might submit an application and a resume to work for the Trump administration after Trump wins. After Trump wins, I know they have like applications to work in the administration. I may fill one out. just to see what happens. Not that I'm not going to leave my partnership, but still. CTV's in the house. What up, CTV? Yeah, she would make a good run to the VA. She is a combat vet. Oh, for sure. I think there's a very good chance of that. She has proven herself time and again to be an uncorruptible person. I feel like she is genuine. I think so too, yeah.
Open arms by President Trump and so many of you who love our country. And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
Wow! That's amazing.
I'm joining
you too, CTV. You too, man.
The party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against and end slavery in this country. It is the party of common sense, and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace.
I'm joining the RNC too.
So,
RNC.
As we stand here today, we have 14 days until the most historic election of our lives. And my message to my fellow Americans, regardless of your political affiliation, now is the time for us to stand together to save our country.
This is Tulsi.
There is nothing less than that that's on the line. A vote for President Trump is a vote for a big open tent party that welcomes people from all backgrounds and all walks of life. A vote for President Trump is a vote to express our deep love for our country and our appreciation for our God-given rights and freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. A vote for President Trump is a vote for secure borders and safe communities, and a vote for President Trump is a vote for peace here in America and around the world.
Yeah, I've never been a Tulsi fan because of that, Copperhead. She's a gun grabber. She's kind of socialistic on a lot of things, but you know, we're a big tent party. She's welcome.
And only hope in this election to lead our country toward a future where every one of us can live in a truly free, peaceful, and prosperous nation. Every single vote will count. This is our opportunity to vote for freedom, to vote for peace, to vote for America, and vote for President Trump to go back to the White House and make America great again. Thank you so much.
Good for her. Good for her.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Thank you very much. Tulsi, that's great. Wow. That was a surprise. That was really... She's been independent for a long time. It's a great thing, a great honor. Thank you very much, Tulsi. And what a beautiful speech you made, right? Wasn't that beautiful? You know, I'd like to also honor somebody who really has gone through a lot, and I hope he's going to really be helping us a lot. He's got some tremendous ideas and for making us healthy and well, and that's RFK Jr. He's a very special guy, and I just want to thank him because he sort of came in at the same time as Tulsi, and he's
okay,
got...
I can see that the Trump rally is now over. Dude, he spoke for 2 hours. Donald Trump spoke for 2 hours tonight at this North Carolina rally.
Some incredible thing on your health, on women's health, and all of the different elements. I may have to fight him a little bit on the environment because we have to.
Guess. I later on learned CTV. I don't even know if you know this, CTV. But I later on learned after I had been crowned Hippy Dippy champion, Dylan had tweeted it out, the whole 9 yards. I later on learned in a Discord chat right before another event that no, I never was Hippy Dippy champion. No, I never, because I never got the belt, so I never actually was. That was all just sort of fake. That was all just a ruse. I never was Hippy Dippy champ.
Run this country so well, but that's okay. But he's really an outstanding guy, and it was not an easy decision for him, certainly. But RFK Jr., thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So here are the facts on Kamala, just in wrapping it up. Oh, you thought he was here? No, he was. I was wondering. I said, no, he is here in spirit. I can guarantee you he's here. And I'll bring him to the next one, but you won't be here. He's great.
Heck yeah, CTV. So CTV, what's new with you? Give us an update, CTV. We've all been wondering how you doing, man, and wondering when you're gonna become a full-time streamer.
He's got some really incredible ideas, and he's so committed. It's incredible. So thank you very much to Bobby.
No, CTV, give the lecture fan chat an exclusive update on like what's going on with CTV these days.
But here are the facts on Kamala Harris. She's a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. She destroyed our economy.
Have you been streaming? I guess I could check your profile to see if you've been streaming. If I've missed it or something. CTV is there is offline videos. No videos. Holy cow! CTV 12,000 followers. You've got more Twitch followers than I do. So you can't even tell. I can't even tell if you've been streaming. You will be notified when CTV is live. Okay. All right.
She was an original creator of Defund the Police movement, and anybody who wants to defund the police, even for a day or a week, is not worthy of being president of the United States. Can't be. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. These are great, powerful people, strong people, because that's their job. They have to get some of the worst gang members and drug dealers and everything else out of our country. I know a lot of great, tough people right here, but they don't want that job. But she wants to get rid of them. She wants to take them out. We're not taking them out. We're going to make them bigger and stronger because we have a lot of work to do in cleaning up our country and making our country safe. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking as California Attorney General. You know this. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a totally nonviolent crime. Think of that. And she pledged, no, she's so far left, she pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. You know, as soon as...
Fighter Killer, what's up, Fighter Killer? No, I did not see that, Fighter Killer. I have not seen Kamala Harris's Twitch channel. But I did know that she's got Obama and stuff. I was going to watch Obama tonight. I was going to do an Obama speech react tonight, hopefully, if I have time. I have been working a lot, learning some new skills, but I would like to stream again. But when I start, I lose the motivation to continue. Doesn't seem like it did before, if that makes sense. When I think about getting back into the politics side of things, it makes my head hurt a little bit, if I'm being honest. Cool, CTV. Well, what have you been working? What have you been doing for work?
You know that as soon as that comes up, she will literally guaranteed confiscate your guns.
No, Copper.
And she even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. All a taxpayer. That's right.
All right, Trump is back on the teleprompter and he's finishing up. Plus, there's a lot more content I want to get to. Plus, I do better clips.
Thank you, Matt.
I do better clips with Kamala Harris. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for the NBC, the exclusive NBC News Kamala Harris interview?
Vice President, for your time.
I'm glad to be with you. Thank you.
We were just talking about the campaign trail yesterday and these key Rust Belt battlegrounds, as they call them.
Sorry, I'm such a weirdo. I should stop being such a weirdo. Gosh, I am such a weirdo. Sorry, guys. Sorry for being such a weirdo.
Talking with undecided voters. You are reaching out that olive branch to these voters. You want to bring them on board.
Nice, CTV.
For
Good.
them, for so many voters, we know that a huge issue for them is the economy.
Right.
It's the cost of living. I've been on the campaign trail. I hear that in the field again and again. You look at some of the numbers on this, and our new NBC News poll shows that more voters think that the Biden administration policies have hurt them rather than helped them. And I wonder, are the last 4 years an obstacle to you in this race?
Here's how I look at it. First of all, let me be very clear. Mine will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring my own experiences, my own ideas to it.
So she's going to just try to have it both ways here. Oh, everything good from Biden, yeah, I like, but no, everything bad is bad. No, I'll be different. Okay.
And it has informed a number of my areas of focus, most of which are, on to your point, lowering costs. I am traveling the country.
Give me a break about lowering costs. You're the one that caused all the inflation in the first place. What are you talking about, lowering costs? You're the one that caused inflation.
I am very clear. Cost of groceries still too high. The voters know it. I know it. So part of my plan includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries, including the work I will do dealing with price gouging, something I dealt with when I was Attorney General, something I will deal with going forward. Cost of housing. You know,
I'm so sorry, but price gouging just diminishes the presidency. I'm sorry. The president has more important things to do than alleged price gouging. That's something for like the lowest of the low level, like government bureaucrats to think about. Give me just lower the president spending his time on price gouging of groceries. Give me a break.
Speaking with people of every background in every area of the country, of every age. And, you know, the idea of the American dream was...
Exactly, Fish and Zombie. Goku Games, what up?
Previous generations
Ohio Bacon,
count on,
what up?
not as much anymore.
Fish and Zombie, thanks for being here.
Bringing down the cost of housing by doing what I have done in my career.
What you have done in your career is driven up the cost of housing, Kamala. Where's the cost of housing gone since 2021 when you took over in the White House? Skyrocketed.
That perhaps is a different approach, which is really actively working with the private sector, for example, home builders, to create incentives for them to build millions of new homes in housing units so we can bring down the cost, including what I will do to give people a $25,000 down payment assistance if they are a first-time home buyer. So these are examples.
Oh, yeah. You guys ready for some government projects, guys? You guys want some housing units, some Kamala units, some Kamala Harris housing unit, government project, Kamala projects? Yeah, no thanks.
The example is what I'm going to do to expand the child tax credit because, listen, young parents in particular, they need help.
Oh, nice. Altair, we got a tuber. Thank you. Thank you. Altair usually does good. Altair usually does good portrait versions for the shorts. Sorry, you got me doing a weird thing on that one. Which quit planning on giving my money away to other people who didn't work for it? Exactly.
They have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. $6,000 extra during the first year of their child's life can help them buy a crib or a car seat or clothes, the things that are so crucial to that phase of their child's development. So my plans and my policies are really directed at exactly your point, doing what we must do to bring down the cost of living, but also to help people not just get by, but get ahead. And I'm proud to report to you that economists from Nobel laureates to Goldman Sachs have reviewed my economic
Why
plan.
is she still saying that after the last time she said that all those economists came out and said, no, she's misrepresenting what we said?
versus Donald Trump's, and in comparison have found that my plans will strengthen America's economy. His plans will weaken America's economy.
Then why do you think that's not landing with voters? Because
but
in the
I think
numbers,
it is.
it's the opposite. Former President Trump leads you on this issue.
Well, when I'm out, this is why I'm going out to Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, excuse me. Just got in late this morning, actually. But going to 3 states yesterday, and I'm going to continue being on the road. I have to earn the vote. And it means sharing with folks my plan, but also offering them what objective analysts have shown to be the contrast between me and Donald Trump. My plans are focused on working people, the middle class, and what we must do to strengthen hardworking people to be able to do what they dream and
So why have you done nothing for those people for the 4 years you've been in the White House and for your entire career then? Would be my question.
Aspire to be able to do. His plans are about giving tax cuts, massive tax cuts, to billionaires and big corporations.
False. Donald Trump's tax cuts gave tax cuts to over 85% of all Americans. Lie.
His so-called plan for the economy, economists have estimated, will exacerbate inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So there's a huge difference between he and I.
Let me ask you about something that you said when you were running for president the last time around, back in 2019. At the time, you said that the elephant...
Yeah, I agree, Num. I'm pretty much on board with you. I would say some tax cuts are bad, Num. I would say that, like, when you try to do social engineering through the IRS code and you do refundable tax credits, and then you call them tax cuts, and then you incentivize stupid behavior, like you say, hey, the federal government will give you $5,000 if you worship Satan. But it's a refundable tax credit, so it's actually a tax cut. We're actually giving out a tax cut if you worship Satan, and you can claim it as a refundable tax credit if you worship Satan. It's $5,000. That would be a bad tax cut.
In the room was whether the country was ready for a woman and a woman of color to be president. So let me ask you, as you sit here today, do you think the country is ready now for a woman and a woman of color to be president?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am seeing that in terms of every walk of life of our country. You know, I think part of what is important in this election is really not only turning the page, but closing the page and the chapter on an era that suggests that Americans are divided. What I know from personal experience, from lived experience, and from my travels even most recently, the vast majority of us have so much more.
It's just so disgusting to hear her say this after being a part of the most divisive administration and accusing like 50% of all Americans of being racist, horrible dirtbag scumball, horrible people, and rejecting half of our country as even human beings, essentially. Give me a break, Kamala.
And then what separates us. And what the American people want in their president is a president for all Americans, which is the type...
It's just talking points from her. We want a president for all Americans. How many times have we heard that crap from candidates over the many decades? It's just a BS talking point. That's all that is. There's nothing there.
Kind of president I pledge to be. This is my life's work. As you know, I started as a prosecutor. I never asked a victim of crime, a witness to crime, are you a Republican or Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay? And that's what the American people want to know, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender or their age. They want to know that they have a president who sees them and understands their needs and focuses on their needs, understanding we all deserve to have a president who is focused on solutions and not just fanning the flames of division and hate.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone. The point that most people really...
Wow, she's clearly a woman? Wait, so we can assume her gender? She literally just said we can assume her gender. Wow, the woke stuff really is dead.
Care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I hear you on that.
That is why I spend the majority of my time listening and then addressing the concerns, the challenges, the dreams, the ambitions, and the aspirations of the American people. They deserve to have a president who's focused on them as opposed to a Donald Trump who's constantly focused on himself. I think that's part of why people are exhausted with Donald Trump and his approach, because it's all about himself and his personal grievances. And not about the American people, not about how are you going to help families, how are you going to help small businesses, how are you going to strengthen our economy. These are the things I'm focused on. I'm focused on investing in the new industries on which America should lead and be a global leader.
I ask because to implement the agenda that you want to implement, you have to win first. You have to win the White House. And right now there is a big gender gap in this race. Fewer men support you right now than they did President Biden. Some of your allies have suggested there's sexism at play. I wonder, do you think there is sexism at play here?
Let me just tell you something.
That's the question you're going to ask the presidential candidate. Is there sexism at play and who supports you? Why not ask about war and peace or the budget, or like, why not ask about something important?
You've come to my events and you will see there are men and women at those events, whether it be small events or events with 10.
Really? Where are all the LGBTQI people, Kamala? Are there transgender people at your events? You said there's men and women at your events. Are there transgender people at your events? Why did you leave them out? Why'd you leave them out? Are there bisexual people at your events? Why'd you leave them out? Are there two-spirit people at your events? Why'd you leave them out? Why'd you leave?
1,000 people. So the experience that I am having is one in which it is clear that regardless of someone's gender, they want to know that their president has a plan to lower costs.
Right, Altair.
That their president has a plan to secure America in the context of our position around the world. They want a president of the United States who honors our military, who understands.
We're literally halfway into this NBC News interview, and all of the questions have been woke, identity politics, sectarianism, or whatever, sectionalism, whatever they call that crap. Oh, is the country ready for a woman? Is the country ready for a black woman? Oh, why don't you lean in more to the fact that you're a black woman? Do you think sexism is why people don't support you? What a bunch of dumb questions. Not a single thing that's important to our country. Not a thing about the budget or war or anything.
The importance of America's leadership around international rules and norms. And that is regardless of gender.
So
and that is how I will lead.
Do you not see sexism as a factor in this race at all?
A follow-up question on it. Lady, move on. Nobody cares.
I don't think of it that way. My challenge is the challenge of making sure I can talk with and listen to as many voters as possible and earn their vote. And I will never assume that anyone in our country should elect a leader based on their gender or their race. Instead, that leader needs to earn the vote based on substance and what they will do to address challenges and to inspire people to know that their aspirations and their ambitions can and will be achieved through the opportunity to do that.
Some of those voters that I spoke with at some of the events yesterday, for example, talked about they were there to support you, but also your agenda when it comes to reproductive rights and abortion access. And you have cast this as a matter of literal life and death, as an urgent priority here. If you win, it is entirely possible that Congress will be controlled by Republicans. So what specific concessions would you be willing to make in order to get something done on abortion access as soon as possible?
Well, first of all, look at what has happened since the Dobbs decision came down. A decision that is a direct result of the fact that Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of...
Dude, Oh, you guys got to check. Okay, check out this comment I just got. This guy commented, I've looked everywhere, searched for hours. I think I lost it. I've checked every nook and cranny. I've scoured the house completely, torn all the furniture apart, ripped the wallpaper down, even went outside with the metal detector to see if it somehow got buried by the dog or something. I can't find it anywhere. The context, where is it? And this is my video. Tanked alongside the crapper. Yes, Eric. I believe in reforming those programs and fixing those programs and sort of slowly starting to phase them out. So slowly send them back to the street. Dude, so I'm putting up these YouTube shorts. I'm putting up these YouTube shorts where I'm like ranting for 30 seconds about something, and it's like nobody has a clue what I'm talking about. I think I'm talking about the entitlement programs, but oh, that's too funny. That comment is hilarious.
of the United States Supreme Court with the
6 people charged with illegally voting in Ohio. Wow.
intention they would undo the protections of Roe. They did as he intended, and now in 20 states we have Trump abortion bans, which some make no exception for rape or incest, which criminalize healthcare providers in a state like Texas, prison for life for doctors and nurses if they provide reproductive care. And where we have seen this issue on the ballot, to your point about elections.
Wow, life in prison for any kind of reproductive care. Wow. Not just late-term abortions, any kind of reproductive care, you go to prison for life. That has to be a flat-out lie.
From red states to blue states, when freedom is on the ballot, the American people vote for freedom, regardless of the party they are registered to vote with. We have seen that. And I know that there are members of the United States Congress who are well aware that their constituents are in favor of the very fundamental principle that a woman should be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
So is a question of pragmatism then, what concessions would be on the table? Religious exemptions, for example, is that something that you would consider?
I don't think we should be making concessions when we're talking about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body.
To Republicans like, for
wow,
example...
she disagrees with religious exemptions for abortion. Wow.
Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, who would back something like this on a Democratic agenda if, in fact, Republicans control Congress. Would you offer them an olive branch, or is that off the table? Is that not an option for you?
I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals because we can go on with a variety of scenarios. Let's just start with a fundamental fact. A basic freedom has been taken from the women of America.
No, it hasn't. You can still get as many abortions as you want in all your little blue states, and including states like Montana. There's been like some modest abortion restrictions implemented in like 2 or 3 states. Quit overreacting.
The freedom to make decisions about their own body. And that cannot be negotiable. Which
nice. Bad Boys got the clip. Thank you, Bad Boys. Appreciate it. Oh, nice. You even got the portrait version hooked up. You got the portrait version hooked up. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say ayo.
Is that we need to put back in the protections of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, exactly, Altair. It's like what if you become president, would you propose a policy ABC or XYZ? I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals. Let's start with a fundamental fact. I'm a good candidate.
And that is it.
But what if you can't do that? What if you can't get that passed and you want to save lives in Florida and in Texas and in Georgia? What do you do?
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole with you right now. Because
it's a question that's out there because it's not a guarantee that Democrats will win control of Congress.
Well, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we do. On this issue, I think that what is clear to me is whether someone is... I was just with one of the leaders, and I think opinion leaders in the Republican Party, Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney, an opinion leader in the GOP. Yeah, right.
She is, as she has stated publicly and has expressed her
She said it on stage yesterday.
She is pro-life. But she also understands the pain and the tragedy that has happened since Donald Trump allowed Roe v. Wade to be overturned. So that's my point about what is non-negotiable. It has to be that we agree that it is so fundamental that we allow...
Oh my gosh. I'm going to spend a few minutes working on some clips here, guys. Oh my goodness. Too freaking funny. I only got a couple more of these. I think I only have a couple more of these. Reforming programs and fixing programs. That last one I did was hilarious. With that comment. Are you guys full? Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. I was all playing alone. I was like, where are my friends?
Shit, wrong button.
Wait, did that guy just die?
Man.
Did he just die?
Yeah, he's just unconscious, probably.
Are you gonna execute him?
We gotta humanely put him down.
Put him down.
All right, farewell. All right, might have been overkill, but we got him.
Oh, nice, bad boys. You got another one for me too. Oh, that one actually was nice. Thank you, bad boys. Let me link it. Let me link it. Let me link it. Share. YouTube. Boom. 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 Boom.
Women the ability with their doctor, with, if they choose, talking with their faith leader, to be able to make these decisions.
I saw that, Num. I saw that news, Num. So Liz Cheney was directly communicating or trying to directly communicate with the person who she knew had a lawyer, huh? Not good.
Does not have the government tell her what to do.
On the question of your beliefs, what you believe in, let me ask you this question very broadly speaking here.
Sure.
Do you believe that transgender Americans should have access to gender-affirming care in this country?
I believe we should follow the law. I mean, I think you're probably pointing to the fact that Donald Trump's campaign has spent tens of millions of dollars.
They're trying to define you on this.
Yes,
I'm asking you to define yourself, though. Just broadly speaking, what is your value? Do you believe they should have that access?
I believe that people, as the law states, even on this issue about federal law, that is a decision that doctors will make in terms of what is medically necessary. I'm not going to put myself in the position of a doctor, but let's also understand that Donald Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads to talk about two cases, to distract from the fact that his policy and plan is also to take away the Affordable Care Act, which provides health care for tens of millions of people in our country. That his plan is to undo the $35 a month cap on insulin, that it impacts millions of seniors in our country. That his plan is to do away with the $2,000 cap on prescription medication, the annual cap. That his plan
There's
is
just so much here, Num. Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to get started on debunking all of the lies and misinformation she's spewing right now.
to get rid of the Department of Education, which would mean getting rid of Head Start. That his plan is to give tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations and on the backs of middle class work.
All right, I got to take a... I got to take a bathroom break real quick.
If it's Tuesday, 2 weeks to go, former President Obama and Governor Tim Walz campaign in must-win Wisconsin. As sources tell NBC News, the Harris campaign is bracing for a potentially devastating loss in one of its blue wall states. Plus, former President Trump says he's seen no evidence of cheating in the 2024 election, but doubles down on sowing doubt and distrust in the integrity of the vote, while baselessly claiming he is leading in every state. And inside the hotly competitive contest that could decide which party controls Congress and why the key to winning the House could run through a pair of solidly blue states. Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Gabe Gutierrez in Washington, just 2 weeks from Election Day, with every moment crucial for both campaigns. And new reporting from NBC News that the Harris team has begun to see some cracks in the so-called blue wall states, along with signs that North Carolina may be out of reach for them as well. It all comes as Vice President Harris spent yesterday blitzing every one of those blue wall states with events in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, alongside former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Their message to voters: that former President Trump is unfit for another term in office.
In this election, and especially here in Pennsylvania, we have the opportunity to tell the whole world who we are. And we have the chance to say, you know, we're going to reject cruelty. We're going to reject the kind of vile vitriol that we've seen from Donald Trump.
I believe what is at stake in this election is so fundamental for us as Americans. And it is about, do we take seriously the importance of a president who obeys the oath to be loyal to the Constitution of the United States? I've said many times, I do believe Donald Trump to be an unserious man, but the consequences of him ever being in the White House again are brutally serious. And I think that what we see about him in public, whether it be his rallies, I think it does lead us, and it should lead us to observe that he is increasingly unstable.
If you wouldn't hire somebody to babysit your kids, like, you shouldn't make that guy the president of the United States. I mean, that's pretty basic.
And today, more of the Democratic cavalry is in those blue wall states, with running mate Governor Tim Walz and former President Barack Obama hitting the trail in Madison, Wisconsin. You're looking at live pictures of that event right now. And meanwhile, former President Trump will be campaigning in North Carolina for a second day in a row, where yesterday he was projecting high levels of confidence, brazenly and falsely suggesting that the only way he could lose is through election fraud.
We're winning by a lot. We're leading by a lot. We're leading in the polls. Every single state looks like we're doing really well. I was in California. I'd love to have God to come down and be the vote counter just for one day and see how well we're doing in California. Did you ever hear the expression that the vote counter is far more important than the candidate? And unfortunately, we can't let that happen. We've got to take it back. The vote counter is more important than the candidate. That's been true, unfortunately.
And we should note, there is no evidence whatsoever to back up Trump's often repeated claims of election fraud and election conspiracies. In addition to sowing doubts about the results, should he lose, Trump is also lashing out at Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. Here's some of what he said earlier today at a roundtable with Latino voters in Florida.
This woman is the worst, the lying. It's just unbelievable. And then she's got the worst governor in the country, probably the worst. I think she made a horrible mistake. We'll see what happens on November 5th, you know, let's see what happens. But there's something wrong with him, honestly. There's something wrong. And there's something wrong with her, too. She's slow, low IQ, something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they lie. We don't need another low IQ person.
And joining me now is our NBC News team. Monica Alva here with me on set with the latest on the Harris campaign. Garrett Haake is in Greensboro, North Carolina, where Donald Trump will rally tonight. Ryan Nobles is in Texas as Harris prepares to campaign there on Friday. And Shaq Brewster is talking to voters on the first day of early voting in Wisconsin. Thank you all so much for joining us. And Monica, I want to turn to you and your new reporting on Democrats fearing that there could be some cracks in the blue wall. Walk us through it.
Yeah, and this is really notable, Gabe, because, of course, for weeks now, the Harris campaign has been saying that the path to 270 likely does go through these blue wall states. And that's why you've seen the vice president and her running mate spending so much time there. All of last week, basically, they were in one of those states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, every single day going back and forth. And that's what you're going to continue to see. But now our new reporting reflects that there is a nervousness that there could be an anomaly, which is that one of the blue states could fall, essentially meaning she could win the other two. But there is particular concern about Michigan, for example, and that would mean that then she would have to pick up obviously another key battleground state. So it raises questions about their positioning in North Carolina or in a Nevada or in Arizona. And of course, she will continue to go to all of those different places. But it does suggest that we know this race has been really tight, but the traditional roadmap is something that, of course, they're eyeing and they're trying to shore up in other places in case that does happen.
And you know, what's interesting is actually the event with former President Obama is underway right now in Wisconsin. Let's take a listen and dip in and see what he's telling the audience there.
So he's standing there and he's swaying the Ave Maria and YMCA. And you know, the governor from South Dakota, she's standing there with this weird look on her face, like she doesn't really know what's going on. She's like, it's like a hostage video. Can you imagine if Tim did that, or Kamala did that, or I did that? Now, our playlist would be better.
What a joke, dude. First of all, it's such a joke the way they're like, and by the way, we must note for the record that Trump's claims about election issues and voting issues are completely false. We have perfect elections. No issues ever. That's all false. It's like, okay, dude. And then of course freaking Meet the Press Now cuts to that. Dude, I don't think I can handle the rest of that Kamala Harris interview. I really can't. The Democrat rally? Is that really what that is?
Single day and all the opportunities that
You know that I just got the word that Barack Obama is on the ground. He's heading right here, right now.
Ooh, big deal, nerd.
We've got 2 weeks until November 5th. But let's not forget that the election is happening right now. People can vote right now. Absolutely you do. Trump is a... Okay.
Vice President Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. Assume kid.
So Detroit, as I close, let us rise to the occasion. All right. Our team is showing the country what we're all about here in the Motor City and in the great state of Michigan. We play hard, we work together, and we get shit done, right? In your life. They propose plans to lower our costs, to grow our economy, and is going to fight for you.
Whoa, for-profit media is the enemy. What's up, for-profit? Well, I went to both Trump and Harris rallies in North Carolina, same venue. It was super interesting. Yeah, what'd you learn?
Because she's lived a life like you have, like we have. Do you know that she moved in with her sister to help her?
Dude, how the heck did Michigan ever like Gretchen Whitmer as their governor? Seriously.
Woman president on the people.
That people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known.
Yeah, that's why we vote for Trump, Eminem. What the hell are you talking about, bro?
I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
Is enjoying this way too much for comfort.
Hello, Detroit! You fired up? Are you ready to go? Yeah. Hey, I've got to say, let me just say, let me just say, I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. And I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting. Dun, 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 dun. I thought Eminem was going to be performing. I was going to jump out. Love me some Eminem. I love you back. All right. I love you back. It is good to be back in Michigan. Good to be back in Motor City. Now, I heard there was another rally here on Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it's so obvious. He really wants another shadow administration. Oh, you can tell he really, really wants Kamala Harris to win so that he can have another administration just like he's had for the last 4 years under Biden.
But it was a little smaller than this one. Don't boo now, vote. Don't boo. I'm telling you right now, don't boo. They can't hear your boos, but they can hear your votes. And I am here today for a very important reason. To ask you to vote for your Congressman, Sri Tanada, for your next Senator, Alessa Slotkin, for the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris. And I know you've heard this already, but it is worth repeating. Here in Detroit, early in-person voting has already started. If you are not registered, you can do it right before you vote at any early voting site. Early in-person voting.
Boo. I agree, Eric. Boo. Boo.
Begins all across Michigan on October 26th. And if you have an absentee ballot, just go ahead and return it. Don't be waiting. Just go ahead and do that. Find out where to vote early, where to register. If you need to find out where there's a ballot drop box near you, all that information's at iwillvote.com/Michigan. All right, and then you help your friends and family make a plan to vote too. Because together.
Nice. Bad Boys on the clip game. Thank you, Bad Boys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Get the clip game going strong. You guys want to see my YouTube analytics? Let's see how I'm doing here. Real time. Real time. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Dang, actually we're popping, guys. We're popping. We got 1,000 views in the last 45 minutes. That's what's up.
Detroit, we have a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country.
Oh, I know, Altair. I agree, Altair. You can just he comes across as so personable and such a nice guy, and you know, just so genuine. And it's like, you know, like deep behind the scenes, he's got like these really like sinister views about America and socialism and our Constitution and stuff like that. Yeah, very disturbing.
To start building a better and stronger and fairer and more hopeful America.
Oh, he's a complete asshole, Eric. He's a complete asshole, yep.
And let me tell you, your vote is going to matter. Because we know this election is going to be tight. And it's going to be tight because a lot of Americans are still struggling. I miss you too, but hold on. We can catch up later. As a country,
Kind of sounds like he wants to be president again, doesn't it?
hold on a second. As a country, we've been through a lot together these last few years. There was a historic pandemic, and it wreaked havoc on our communities and our families and our businesses. Disruptions from the pandemic then caused prices to hike, and that put a strain on family budgets. And people started feeling like no matter how hard they worked, they're just treading water. So I get why people are looking to shake things up.
Thank you, bad
I understand
boys.
that.
Thank you, bad boys.
But what I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you.
Yeah, Obama, we think that because when Donald Trump was president for 4 years, he shook things up in a way that was good for all of us. That's why we think that, Obama. It's not that hard.
Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. I have said it before. Donald Trump is a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. And when he's not complaining, when he's not doing some strange tweet, he's trying to sell you stuff. I mean, who is hawking merch when they're running for president? I mean, he's trying to sell you golden sneakers. He's trying to sell you a $100,000 watch. Says it's made in Switzerland, but nobody really knows. And then, listen up, my favorite is the Trump Bible. Don't boo. Don't boo, vote. Gideon gives the Bible out for free.
Yeah, I can't stand this guy either, Eric. I really cannot stand Barack Obama. I think he's a very dishonest person. I think he's very, very sinister. I think he's very disingenuous. I think he was a terrible president. I think he intentionally wanted to harm America. I really do.
He wants to sell you the Word of God, Donald Trump edition. He's got his name right there next to Matthew and Luke. And I'll give you one guess where those Bibles are made. He's Mr. Tough Guy on China, except when he can make a few bucks. Listen, you cannot make this stuff up. If this was a routine on Saturday Night Live, you'd be all like, no, that's going too far. But it's all true. And the reason he's doing it is because all he cares about is his ego and his money and his status. He's not thinking about you. For him, power is nothing more than a means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his country club buddies. He doesn't care if he costs women their reproductive rights because he figures it won't make a difference in his life. And this is the most important thing. Now, I want everybody to listen up. Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them. And us for him is the quote, real Americans who support him. And everybody else who doesn't, that's them. That's the enemy. And he does this because he understands that dividing people, making people angry, that boosts his chances of being elected. So that's his mindset. Those are his intentions. And then there is also the question of his competence. Now, y'all have an example of competence in your outstanding governor, Gretchen Whitmer. That's what competence is. Getting stuff done. On the other hand, have you seen Mr. Trump lately? He's out there he'll give like 2.5-hour speeches. Just a word salad. You don't know what the heck he's saying.
That's just not true. We literally just watched a 2-hour Trump rally, and it made perfect sense exactly what he was saying the entire time.
The other day, he had a town hall meeting. Now, I've had a lot of town hall meetings. And the point is that you're supposed to listen and then answer questions from your constituents. About 45 minutes into it, he just said, you know what, I don't feel like taking questions no more. And then he just played music for half an hour. He's just up there swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA. Can you imagine if
So that's all they've got, huh? That's all they've got against Trump is that he was acting weird at a rally. He does long speeches and he sells stuff. Wow, that's really a great presidential campaign and really a great presidential idea. Good idea for a presidency.
Or Gretchen did that. Now, I will say our playlist might be better. I'd have Lose Yourself on there. At one of his rallies recently, he called himself the father of IVF. Now, I have no idea what that means. And you don't either. He said January 6th was a day of love. Made it sound like Woodstock. Made it sound like Coachella. Here's the point, Detroit. If your grandpa was acting like this, you'd be worried. You'd call up. You'd call up your sister, your brother, your cousin. You'd be all like, let me holler at you. Have you noticed Grandpa? He acting a little funny. But this is somebody who wants unchecked power. We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America's ready to turn the page. We're ready for a better story. Michigan, we are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And the good news is Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a leader who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice, need a champion, somebody who was raised in the middle class. She worked at McDonald's when she was in college to pay her expenses. She did not pretend to work at McDonald's when it was closed.
He's literally attacking Donald Trump because Donald Trump didn't really get a real job at McDonald's and really work at McDonald's the other day. Oh, how pathetic, how pathetic. Bad Boys, you've got Bad Boys. Are you not doing portrait edits, Bad Boy? These all look like default Or are you doing these portrait edits? I think people like it when you've got throw in like, first of all, this should be like centered. Plus Obama needs to be on there. Thank you for the clip. Thank you for the clip though, bad boys. But the portrait version edits are...
This is somebody who believes in the values that built this country.
Yes, Eric, yes.
And she is as prepared as any nominee for president has ever been. That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she'll have an outstanding...
Yeah, exactly, Altair. Exactly, Altair. We're clip farming here. This is hard work. This is honest work. This is hard work, but this is honest work. We're clip farming here. You got to get your portrait edits right.
Partner in Governor Tim Walz. Now, before I came here, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and Tim Walz was there, and I love that dude. He's a veteran. He's a teacher. He's a coach, a marksman. He's been a great governor, and he's a car guy. He can even take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again. Now, do you think Donald Trump can do that? Do you think Donald Trump has ever even changed a tire in his life?
Do we need a president who's a small engine guy? No, we don't.
Let me tell you, if that man gets a flat tire,
I can't deal with the hatred from this scumbag. I can't deal with the hatred from this dirtball. I'm gonna go, guys. 2.5 hours. I'm tired. I'm gonna go get some more food. Thanks for being here, guys. Peace.